Hello, drummers. Posture is arguably one of the biggest conversation topics that I have seen about sitting behind a drum set. So let's talk about how we can dispel some myths as to how you should be sitting behind the drum set and make sure you feel the most comfortable when you're playing drums. Posture and the spinal system is relatively complex. Now, I would start off by saying that first of all, I would suggest you watch my drum throat and height mechanics video before we proceed into this, because if you're not sitting at a height that's appropriate for you, it's going to make this next part a little bit more difficult and potentially give you some more skewed information. Now, we're not going to go crazy depth into anatomy, but if anyone would like more detail, please let me know. There's tons of information I can give you guys, but I want to keep it simple to start. This is your spine. This is your coccyx, and you guys can see that between the lumbar, thoracic, and cervical spine, I've got some unique curvatures to each one. Now, when someone talks about having bad posture, usually what they're talking about is a posture like this, where you have a very rounded forward posture through the thoracic spine. Could be coming from other systems, but generally it's coming from here. Sometimes you can have bad posture by being too far back into extension, but that one is a little bit more rare. It can be usually found in someone who's got quite a lot of extra abdominal fat. So how do we know where we should be sitting with this posture? Let's look at a more practical example with my body, and we'll talk about it. So if I'm sitting, say behind the drum set, and I want to check my posture, first of all, sit on your throne and sit as relaxed as you can. Second step I would suggest is completely slouch down into the most outrageously awful posture that you possibly can. And then go back into the greatest extension that you possibly can. Then find your happy medium. Now for me, this is the posture that I can stay in all the time and really have no problem. I've had some people tell me it's good. I've had some people tell me it's bad. What's important is that you need to understand that you're unique, and that based off of your age and your experiences, that some of you may find this posture extremely comfortable. Now, does that mean that posture is ideal? It might be ideal for you. It may not be long-term health ideal, but if you're going to play drums for an hour and a half at a gig, and you can actually hang out here and play, that's where you got to be. If you want to permanently change that posture, find a personal trainer, a physiotherapist, or a rehab specialist that's actually educated in that and work on changing your posture a little bit. Wolff's Law is the law in anatomy that describes that over time, how your bones can change shape by about 10% each year. Why is that important? If you're someone that has had bad posture for a decade, that means that your spinal system may have changed shape by 100%. Not literally 100%, but you may have some very dramatic changes where you might actually have your spine shaped like so. In that case, this extension might feel awful. One of the biggest mistakes that I've seen with drummers is when they're told they have bad posture and they force themselves back into this extreme and they're uncomfortable, but they try to play here. You need to play where it's comfortable to you. There is no good and bad posture if it feels comfortable behind the drum set. The best posture is the one that you can play pain-free. If it looks like you have good posture and you're in pain, it's not going to be a good posture. Now, to add one more element to this, what I want you to consider is that you might want to check your posture relative to your instruments. So what does that mean? Well, that posture I showed you is kind of based off of me facing my snare drum. My most furthest instruments right now in this setup are my hi-hat cymbals and my floor tom and my auxiliary hi-hat. So check your posture over here. Turn your torso towards your furthest instrument and check your posture to see where you're comfortable. Turn to your other farthest instrument and do the same thing. You might be surprised to see that your posture slightly rotated is going to be different, and there are some very specific mechanical reasons for that. But don't force anything. Make sure you feel comfortable. All right, everyone, this is Brandon at Drum Mechanics. This is Dr. B. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys have any questions or concerns, or maybe you disagree with what I'm saying, please leave some comments below. Let's talk about it. If you want to know more about this and you want more detail and more of the biomechanics stuff, and you want to talk about type 1 and type 2 spinal mechanics and how it relates to you, let's do it. But I hope this information was practical to you. Again, this is Brandon, your biomechanics and fitness resource for the modern drummer. Let me know how me and Dr. B can help you So keep playing drums and having a great time behind this instrument.